Shalom, shalom and welcome. Welcome to In Line. There's so much information to learn, so much to gain, so much to receive that will strengthen us. We who are drawn by the Almighty Creator, Yahuah, to his word, Yahusha, as written in John 6:44. If you're tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah, and these are a series of short messages that I have dubbed to put under the label In Line, for we can only take so much at a time, and some things are placed in line to come to us one after another. In this segment, I want to talk about growing stronger. Do you know with each day that the Almighty Father gives us to live and to breathe, that there is something to learn? The scriptures talk about pray without ceasing. And I submit to you that pray without ceasing is communicating, having a mind stayed on the Almighty Father, speaking to him, listening to him. Even when we interact with one another, ask ourselves, are we exchanging words and actions and behaviors that make us feel good about being alive? Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, when we begin to have a desire to focus on growing stronger, we will discover much is going before us, much that we are taking for granted even. We will discover that although some of us are on milk while others are on meat or solid food, growing is still a process. It's still the process to maturity. When we look at chaos and confusion that is rearing up, when we look at diseases and wars and fighting, civil unrest, it's time to grow stronger. Are we going in circles? Are we learning something that strengthens us each day, oh Yashar'al? The time is now to heed the call for growing stronger and contributing to one another in our communication. It's an ongoing process. Come with me to 1 Corinthians 3, verses 1 through 3. It reads, "And I, brothers, was not able to speak to you as to spiritual ones, but as to fleshly, as to babes in Messiah. I fed you with milk and not with solid food, for until now you were not able to receive it. And even now you are still not able, for you are still fleshly. For since there is envy, strife, and divisions among you, are you not fleshly and walking according to man?" Do you see these conditions among us, Yashar'al? Brothers and sisters, envy of another, strife, divided among one another. Maybe, just maybe, these are the symptoms of one that is still on milk. You see, with milk, my brothers and sisters, people tend to read the scriptures and only look at the text. And they fail to realize that the way we were taught, wherever we were taught, influence how we interpret what we read, how we comprehend what we read. And if we fail to discern the Spirit of Yahuah within us, working through us, in the name of Yahusha, by his word, we will miss out what it is to walk as spiritual ones. But this is necessary to come away from strife, divisions, envy, fleshly desires, and motivating factors. Come with me to Hebrews 5, verse 12 through 14. For it reads, "For indeed, although by this time you ought to be teachers, you need someone to teach you again in the first elements of the words of the Almighty One. And you have become such as need of milk and not solid food." Notice it said, teach you again the first elements of the word. I have a series called Seed to Harvest. I encourage you to examine it. It's on my other channel, Symmanayah's channel, the channel that says Symmanayah, my YouTube channel. And it talks about the first elements. And I did one recently talking about the first sound. You see, my brothers and sisters, the Almighty Father has set so many ways in which we can learn and grow stronger. Sometimes our pride keeps us from going back to the beginning to see where we stumbled and failed. It says, and you have become such as need of milk and not solid food. For everyone partaking in milk is inexperienced in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. But solid food is for the mature, whose senses have been trained by practice to discern both good and evil. My brothers and sisters, I have witnessed individuals, and I want to fix this. I have witnessed individuals who are quick to grab a title, and they think by grabbing titles or using amazing words that that's supposed to prove they're far from milk. But believe it or not, some of us stumble. Some of us find ourselves acting as babes, even though we may carry titles. So we should then reflect on what is necessary to get back to the meat of the matter. One way you can tell a person is undiscerning if they partake in a lot of contradictions when the words that they speak collide with one another, and they speak on something with no regards to what other passages have to say. Growing stronger is being consistently growing and discerning the word that is made alive from the text. The text that's made alive from the Spirit of Yahuah. John 14:26 says that the Father will send a helper to teach us, to remind us. Are we experiencing that helper working in a pastor, a moray teacher, a deacon, a bishop, a brother or sister, or directly to us? Do we not know that the Spirit of Yahuah reaches out to us in many ways, my brothers and sisters? Not for the fun of it, but so that we may grow stronger. Come with me to Matthew chapter 3, verse 10 and 11. For see, here we would see it talks about pruning. It talks about if there is no growth, there's a cutting away. Every tree then which does not bear good fruit is cut down. Sometimes, my brothers and sisters, we need to come away if we are not learning. We see here where Yahusha say, I indeed, well, not Yahusha, this was Yehonan, say, I indeed immerse you in water unto repentance. But he who is coming after me is mightier than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to bear. He shall immerse you in the set-apart spirit and fire. Fire, something that strengthens us, something that takes us to a stage where we can speak with boldness that we are indeed growing stronger as we learn what is expected from the Almighty Father. Come with me to Matthew chapter 7, verse 15 through 20. For it reads, but beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are savage wolves. Do you think Yahusha would tell us to beware of false prophets and say that inwardly they are savage wolves, without giving us the ability to discern that he will show us those savage wolves in sheep clothing? He wouldn't tell us to beware and not give us the ability. Notice it says, by their fruits you shall know them. Are grapes gathered from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? So every good tree yields good fruit, but a rotten tree yields wicked fruit. A good tree is unable to yield wicked fruit, and a rotten tree to yield good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. So then, by their fruits you shall know them. Believe it or not, in order to produce good fruit, it can only occur by growing stronger. And to grow stronger requires pruning sometimes, my brothers and sisters. Have you ever seen a tree with weak branches live a long life and produce fruit? I think not. The pruning takes place. So in growing stronger, there are times where there will need to be a cutting, a purging, a coming away. Yashar'al, my brother, my sister, my family, are you growing stronger? Or are you just hearing the same things week after week? Are you being fed? Are you being nourished? Do you see or can you witness the Spirit of Yahusha strengthening you with every encounter of His Word and or the actions of set apartness? You see, my brothers and sisters, life is given, and we are expected to understand why growing stronger is important to our worship and obedience to Abba Yahuah. Let us continue to consider these words, my brothers and sisters, for time is an important factor. Let us know how to grow stronger. Let us recognize and thank the Almighty Father for the things He teaches us. Let us know how to walk in wisdom towards those outside, as it is written in Colossians 4:5. Let us appreciate the ability to grow and grow stronger. The time is now, O Yashar'al. Stop taking things for granted, my brothers and sisters. At least we come to realize opportunities missed. And for such a time as this, O Yashar'al, all that we can receive that makes us stronger will be important to help us endure until the very end. Remember Luke 12:48, my brothers and sisters. Luke 12:48 say, but he who did not know, yet did what deserved flogging, shall be beaten with few. And everyone to whom much is given, from him much shall be demanded. And to whom much has been entrusted, from him much more shall be asked. Much is given, much is required, much is asked. You see, my brothers and sisters, so many of us will say, the Almighty Father gave me this. He blessed me with that. I found favor in this. But don't understand what is expected when He gives us these things. How are we to respond, react, or act on the set apart things that are given to us, on the favor that we find from the Almighty Father? Do we testify of His goodness? Do we share? Or do we hoard? Do we know how to receive and when to give and to whom? Growing stronger will put us in a position where we'll know how to respond. You see, because good intentions are not always set apart actions. Look up the story of Uzzah, and you will see where he was killed. Good intentions, because he was trying to stop the ark from hitting the ground. Look that story up, my brothers and sisters. Let me see here. Bear with me a second, and I will tell you exactly where it is. I believe it's 2 Samuel, 6th chapter. Yes. 6th chapter of 2 Samuel. Look it up, my brothers and sisters. As we grow stronger, we'll learn how to discern whether good intentions are set apart actions of obedience or the type of good intentions that could lead to our demise. Pray, O Yashar'al. Pray and study. Let us grow stronger together. Come with me to Psalms 105, verse 4. It says, seek Yahuah and His strength. Speak I'm going to block this out so I can read it more clearly. Seek his face always. Seek Yahuah in his strength. Seek his face always. Psalms 105:4. Come with me also to Proverbs 27:17. For it reads, iron is sharpened by iron, and a man sharpens the face of his friend. Growing stronger, my brothers and sisters. Let the strong sharpen the strong, but also let the strong be mindful of the weak, and he that is least among us, to impart some strength or direction to him or her. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. That was Proverbs 27:17. Ecclesiastes 10:10 says, if an iron tool is blunt and one does not sharpen the edge, then he needs more strength, and wisdom is advantageous to make right. Iron sharpening iron. If we fail to understand what that looked like, what that resembles, it's going to require more work, more wisdom, more growth. So in our growing stronger, let us look at it as iron sharpen iron, when two strong individuals that are growing strong together realize it's when we stumble and we restore one another with correction and support. Take a moment, my brothers and sisters, and reflect on what these words actually resemble. It's time to reflect on the life in these words and experience growing stronger. Recognize how growing stronger is a good thing. Do you know, my brothers and sisters, more people will fight when they're under discipline and struggle to preserve their ego and make excuses than realizing that with the blood of the Lamb, we can ask for forgiveness with all sincerity and repent and turn and be renewed right away. Right away. Something's wrong with the teachings when teachers try to protect their egos, their leadership positions, when they stumble and fall, and they demonstrate such, but yet they get upset when we mimic their actions with excuses to defend our positions. Discipline should be something welcomed, desired, for out of it comes a better you, a better me, a better Yashar'al. It demonstrates growing stronger. Enough said right now, my brothers and sisters. Pray on these words. Have the discussions with one another. Ask them, are you growing stronger? How? Did you obtain something today? Did you learn something today, this moment, this week, that reflected on going through the process of growing stronger? If not, my brothers and sisters, it's time to pray and seek to discern the ability to recognize and appreciate the things that the Almighty Father has given us to make us stronger. That's all I have for now, O Yashar'al. I pray that we grow in wisdom, discernment, and understanding. End times are bringing some trying times, O Yashar'al. Growing stronger should not be taken for granted. And you'll hear me say that and echo it a lot. Let us not take for granted, for even in the simplest things, we can learn. From the simplest of ones, we can learn. We can learn from one another. Pray and watch. Growing stronger. Embrace it, my brother, my sister, my family. Shalum.